Trust in all forms of government all over the world is at historic lows. But that's not a bad thing, because there's still some trust. And I believe that societies can thrive with low levels of trust as long as governments engage in new ways of listening to the people and then, of course, act on what they say. Because as we've just heard, governments exist to serve the people, right? In democracies, that responsiveness is theoretically achieved by voting. The folk theory of democracy has that the voter goes up and they read all the policy preferences of all the parties and they look at which party has the closest correspondence with their aspirations and they vote for that person, that party. It doesn't happen like that in practice, of course. But even in the most ruthless autocratic regime, they must spend quite a bit of energy making sure that the general population thinks that what they are doing is for the greater good of everyone. Apparently, the North Korean preamble to its constitution even says that the leader thinks serving the people is heaven. And perhaps this fact that no government is absolutely free to do exactly anything that it likes is why there's still some level of trust. Governments should provide basic services and they've got to make sure there's enough food on enough plates. Otherwise, you will see thousands, perhaps millions of people in the streets like we're seeing around the world today. Now, some governments have realised that there's very low levels of trust in what they're doing, and they're looking at these new ways of engaging with citizens. Right, and I'll give you a couple of examples. Right here in France, after months of the Gilets jaunes, the yellow vest protest against a tax hike on fuel, President Macron is now bringing together a randomly selected representative bunch of people in a citizens' assembly to discuss how France can address climate change in alternative ways. Another example is in Scotland, with the Brexit car crash on the horizon. Like, who knows what's going to happen there? The Scottish government thought, we have to think about Scotland's future. But they knew that people wouldn't trust the government itself to come up with an unbiased proposition. So what did they do? They have randomly selected a representative bunch of people and brought them together in a citizens' assembly to talk about the future of Scotland. What about Extinction Rebellion, the global climate protest movement that's demanding urgent action on the climate crisis? They hit the streets all over the world over a month ago. What's their third demand? That governments should be led by citizens' assemblies, representative samples of the people on how they address the climate emergency. So that, to me, is why citizens' assemblies are the way that societies can thrive with low trust in government. And who knows, there's already been 100 citizens' assemblies around the world, more or less. If that becomes thousands and tens of thousands, and the opportunity comes for some sort of regime change or system change, maybe we'll learn to do politics differently, and maybe we'll do politics via citizens' assemblies. Thanks.